On this Monday afternoon. But first up, let's bring Marico to your attention. The stock is trading in the green with gains of over 4%. This is on the back of postings of a steady Q3 numbers with the profits up about 17%. Now, joining us to give us a little bit more on the fine print is the Managing Director and CEO of the company, that's Saugata Gupta. Thank you so much for talking to us. First question to you, if you could first really take us through the highlights of the quarter. We can also see that you were able to retain your target of 8 to 10% volume growth as indicated earlier. Give us a sense as to how all of that has worked out.
So if we look at, I think the India business, the volume growths were decent, although it could have been a little more broad-based. I think the good thing is that most of the channels are back on track. Rural consumption, we are seeing green shoots, and with some of the government schemes, if they executed well, I think next year the rural growth should have a positive traction. We see a very good growth in Parachute. As far as value-added hair oils are concerned, I think there was an issue with CSD because retail sales did deliver double-digit growth. And we have a problem to fix on Saffola. But what is extremely heartening was some of our new products, whether it's foods, male grooming, or some of the new value-added hair oil offerings are doing very well. So I think we believe that an 8 to 10% growth, volume growth in the coming quarters is very much possible. Although because of the input cost hikes, there could be some margin pressures in the short term. But as an organization, our bias is towards driving volume growth and market share. And as long as that happens, I think we are okay to have absorb some of the short-term pressures in margin.
Could you also take us through how the various segments have performed and if there were any significant market share gains this particular quarter? Also, was there an impact on demand of the price cuts that the company had to take because of the GST rates?
So we had a Parachute growth of 15%, and as you know that one of the reasons it has grown, I believe, is that there has been tremendous price hikes, input cost hikes in the copra, but we have absorbed some of the gains, and we believe also in a post-GST scenario, organized players will get a much more level playing field, especially those who with direct distribution. It will be a competitive advantage for us. As regards value-added hair oil is concerned, we grew 8%, but without CSD, the growth was double-digit. We believe that the CSD will be back on growth sometime in Q1 next year. Saffola is been an issue, and I think it will need some fixing, whether in terms of pricing and promotional strategies. And we believe that will take some time, another quarter or so, for the problems to get fixed. But I think one of the most heartening facts is some of the new products are doing very well, and I think our innovation strike rate has improved considerably. So overall, I believe in the international business, in the India business, there is the 8 to 10% volume growth is very much possible over the next few quarters.
Mr. Gupta, could you tell us whether you feel that GST was successful in bringing in cost efficiencies as promised? And also, would you be able to put a number to the cost savings if that was the case?
I think whatever has been the benefit we have passed on. As regards the supply chain and other, I think it's not about efficiency, it's about, I think, much better service levels and all that. So we believe that will take time. But I think GST for the long term is extremely good for both the consumers and the entire sector. And we believe that especially after the if the rural consumption gets back on track, I think 18-19 will be a better year for the sector compared to 17-18.
All right, fair enough. How did the rural business perform this quarter? And also, you have mentioned in the past that green shoots were visible and that rural has actually taken over urban as far as growth is concerned. Tell us a little bit more about what's happening right now.
After a long time, rural growth was higher than urban last quarter. Having said that, again, you have to also take into account that it had a demonetization base where rural had got more impacted than urban. Having said that, I think if some of the government policies which they have outlined in the budget, they executed well, I see definite fillip into the consumption, rural consumption in the couple of quarters going forward. I think there is no reason why the rural growth should be not higher than urban growth for the sector in 18-19.
Okay, how do you see the budget announcements that were rather rural-centric impacting rural growth? And how would you actually say that the company is actually going to be gaining from any kind of boost going forward?
So I think we have to continue to improve our rural contribution. It is a tad lower than compared to some of our peer companies, and we will continue to invest behind rural. Also, the fact is, in a post-GST scenario, we believe that direct distribution is a source for competitive advantage for a lot of players, and therefore we'll continue to focus on driving reach in rural or direct reach in rural as compared to indirect reach. And if rural continues to do well, as I said, that we should be in a position to continue to deliver at least an 8 to 10% volume growth in the coming quarters.
What segments and product categories have the highest rural presence as far as your portfolio is concerned, and what is the current contribution of rural to your overall revenue?
So we'll not get into product-wise details, but as I said, that we have a 34% currently direct rural contribution.
Okay, what is also the outlook as far as input prices are concerned? You have announced a 11% hike in Parachute portfolio effective of January. Also, do you expect any negative impact on sales?
So I think the way we look at it is, if you look at it, there has been a 91% input cost increase, in copra. We have absorbed a significant part of it. It's because we are very, very conscious about the fact that we need to deliver a superior value proposition to the consumer, and as a result, however, having said that, I think the copra prices have peaked out, and going forward in, say, sometime towards the second half of 18-19, we will see a softening of prices. As I said, that we are okay. We have an aggressive cost management program. We would rather like to continue to deliver value to the consumer and there would be some short-term margin issues, but we would be in a position to deliver our threshold level of 17 to 18% margin, and ensure that at the same time not take any disproportionate price increases in Parachute. As I said, that a lot of competition obviously are in cost plus mode in terms of pricing, but we have absorbed a significant portion of the cost push.
Okay, away from that, Mr. Gupta, do take us through the international business performance. You did speak about the stress in Africa and Middle East businesses. How is the recovery coming along there?
So Middle East, the Middle East North Africa business is back into double-digit constant currency growth. I think by Q4, the anniversarization of the currency depreciation of Egypt will play through. So therefore, that will translate into INR growths going forward. Bangladesh business is tracking well. I think we have to solve a short-term issue as far as the Vietnam business is concerned, which didn't do well last quarter, but it should be back on track over the next 2 quarters, and we believe that international business should be able to deliver constant currency double-digit growth in the coming quarters.
Okay, now you also mentioned one of the highlights of the quarter was the success of the new launches. What is the product pipeline looking like, and in what categories can we see innovation coming through?
I think I think foods, we should be able to do some more innovation in foods. We already test marketing or prototyping soups in Mumbai. I think we have a pipeline over the next 2 years as far as healthy foods is concerned. As regards, we are quite excited about some of the premium personal care products in hair. And I think the other thing which we are experiencing good traction is our e-commerce business, and we believe that in the next 2-3 years, we have the potential to create some more specific portfolio for digital and modern trade and have a strong e-commerce and a digital brand business.
Mr. Gupta, do take us through your CapEx plans. Any major investments you'd like to discuss?
So I don't think any significant increase. As I said, as far as inorganic is concerned, it's clearly, I think, is a question of opportunities and strategic fit. But as far as organic is concerned, I think we don't see any significant increase in CapEx or anything.
All right, thank you so much. That's Saugata Gupta. He's the MD and CEO of Marico, really taking us through the quarter on buy as well as projections for the business going forward. Thank you for that conversation right here on Lunch Money. Still ahead on the show, we're putting the spotlight on key stocks and the buzz in the markets with Vaibhav Sanghvi of Avendus Capital. Do stay where you are.